Okay, so these pocket kings, this is one of the, well, this is probably the biggest hand of the session. And it's quite interesting. You remember from last time that the history is quite interesting here. I'll just play through to my first decision. Brunster here raises under the gun. And Bobesh calls. And I think Mealface folds. Yeah. So it's been a while since I played the session. So we get a raise under the gun. I have pocket kings. You know, pocket kings is obviously the nuts pre-flop under any circumstances. But you remember from part one that I have a little bit of session history with Brunster. That session history is basically that I've 3-bet him. We've been in a couple of 3-bet pots. There was the hand where I 3-bet him with King 4 suited, and then I hit a 4 on the flop and he checked behind. I hit a king on the turn and I bet and he folded. And then there was the hand where I flat called pocket jacks in position. He continuation bet 1 street with ace high and then checked the rest to me, and I had pocket jacks. And I've been relatively active on these tables. I don't have my HUD up, but I can tell you I checked my stats afterwards. I was running around about like 27 or 28 VPIP. So my stats would have been like 28, 23 with a high aggression factor. You will have seen from part one that doesn't actually mean that I'm running, maniac style. But, if someone's just basically looking at a heads-up display, my stats are going to look pretty unorthodox and kind of out of line. But this situation is where this is exactly the same situation, or very close to it. The same situation as I 3-bet him with the King 4 hand. I'm sure he remembers it. So basically, everything is the planets are aligning really well for me to squeeze here for value, because I figure that even though I've been relatively solid in showdown, I'm sure that he understands that I'm getting a little bit out of line versus him, and so I want to pop this up exactly as I played the King 4 suited hand and do it for value. This ace king hand over here, I'll go over this. I think I just took the blinds, but I just want to focus on this king's hand for now, and then I'll go back and redo the other hands. Okay, so I make exactly the same bet size with the pocket kings. I make it 7, and Brunster here, I just took the blinds with the ace king. That's cool. Brunster here thinks for a little bit and makes it 20, and basically I'm just like really happy. I'm obviously very, very happy about getting it in pre-flop here. I have the effective nuts, only losing to one hand, and the dynamics are such that I am expecting him to widen his playback range versus me. So I don't think that calling is really any good here. I think calling actually looks stronger than shoving. I think that calling is the case where all the hands that he's going to stack off with pre-flop, or let's put it this way, all the hands that I might get value out of post-flop with a call are going to stack off anyway pre-flop, and then all the hands that might fold pre-flop will only get in post-flop if they improve. So let's say he has like pocket 7s, and he's going to fold it to a shove here. That's fine, but if I call here, he's not going to go broke post-flop with pocket 7s unless he flops a set. So I think shoving is just clearly correct here. I go ahead and do that after thinking for a little bit. And he goes ahead and snap calls and has aces. Now, what the interesting thing about this hand, obviously, pretty sick cooler for me, but it does actually, I mean, I'm not entirely surprised that he did have aces, and I'm going to tell you why. It's a really important lesson for, particularly for micro stakes. The lesson is basically that people overthink just drastically about image and leveling and all the rest of it. We can say about how, it's a sick cooler and all the rest of it, but at the end of the day, if you're overanalyzing your image and you're overanalyzing your history with your opponents, that can be just a huge leak. Now, obviously, with pocket kings, it's irrelevant